Welcome to the Daily Review. This is Razak, Senior Trading Strategist here at CMTrading. Today is May 7th, 2025, and today is Wednesday morning. So looking at the highlights today, markets really awaiting the FOMC Rate Statement later today. So speaking of which, looking at today's major economic events, so at 8 p.m. South African time from the United States, we do have a big FOMC Rate Statement. President Trump has repeatedly requested the central bank to lower interest rates. There's a little bit of a friction there. But first, looking at the markets, starting out with the Forex symbols, major pairs really unchanged. And as we look at the indices, the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ continue to retrace just slightly. And looking at commodities, we're watching gold sell off while oil just has a bounce to its resistance level. And as we look at the stocks, really mixed, watching Apple being very weak and Microsoft being very strong. And lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin back on its tall as it bounces. So let's take a look at markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So we go first with the Euro USD. Now it's been in a tight range over the past, I would say, 10 days of trading. It's been within a 50 pip range, so it's not doing much, okay? However, you do want to know the levels going into this big FOMC rate statement later this evening. So this is where it becomes a super important trade, because if we break above this 115-ish level, okay, if we break below 112.85 level, then we'll have a breakout, and that's really your way to discuss moving forward. Now, looking at the other major pairs, also the same thing, and they're really just consolidating at this area ahead of this FOMC. Look at the Canadian dollar, it's really been untrading, and so has the GBP USD. A little bit more volatility when it comes to the GBP, that we know for sure, and the Japanese yen on its lows here. Okay, so this is super important, okay, because you want to know the thresholds, you want to know the support and resistance level as these numbers will be coming out later today. Now looking at gold, retracing after that nice push up, okay, it pushed above that 33.78. We're right back down there. Okay, so for all intents and purposes, this is supportish area. I would highlight this as supportish area, okay, around this 33.78. We're just above it right now. Okay, so keep this in mind for later today. And crude oil continues to rally up to $59 a barrel. Okay, so showing some life there as things are progressing in oil. Now looking at the US markets, they did retrace yesterday, okay, even though this does look like it's up, it's not. On the daily chart, we did have a sell-off yesterday. We're right now at 41,000 in pre-market as there is a bounce. And looking at the NASDAQ, yes, we did sell off further there yesterday as well, but we do have a little bit of a bounce ahead of today's FOMC. Now looking at the stocks, okay, so let's highlight it. Apple super weak and Microsoft is super strong, okay? So there's a little bit of an imbalance in the market. Market is not trading all together as we've seen that. Okay, now looking at the banks, which they will be on the radar today, especially if there's an interest rate decision change, okay? 249 right now. We're above our 200-day moving average on a 4-hour chart. But this is more important, where we're crossing over, and we may cross over the 8-day moving 8-day moving average to the 30-day moving average. That would be a nice crossover and potentially will give us a little bit of a move upwards. Now we are at resistance-ish levels, so keep that in mind, okay? Because previously this was like almost, as we call it, head and shoulders. It would be an extreme head and shoulders, but it would be a head and shoulders nonetheless. So keep that in mind as well, all right? So the markets are trading in tandem when it comes to the bank stocks. Now lastly, looking at Bitcoin, as it is still very resilient in this market, okay? So people are shifting it as a haven. We spoke about this even 5 years ago, okay? How people were moving their money from gold to Bitcoin, as this is becoming a new haven investment where it's non-denominational, okay? It's not tied to any kind of currency. It's not tied to any kind of commodity, and it's by itself. So this has become a really new haven asset. So keep that in mind as today unfolds as well. This is Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.